Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Right here in the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker Studio. Baldwin Ace Hardware, a beacon of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. Today is a Dear Meathead Day. If you have questions for Dad, send them along. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. I have a few. Well, no, I really don't. I know Miss Nikki, the goat mom in Maine, sent one. The multi-talented Jason sent one as well, but it was too much. I like to protect my dad and Joanne and try to make it a pleasant experience, and I was of the opinion that the question was too much. That they would find it an unpleasant experience. I don't mind Jason trying. I think he might have tried too hard, you know? I always suggest, keep it simple. Don't try to be hilarious. You know, because no one is. Myself included. Hang on, I got to go to the delete box. Good morning, Meathead. It's great to hear from you every Wednesday. I don't think Eric's show would survive without you each week. Well, that's true. I'd be heartbroken. Jason writes, I love to fart. I'm telling you, just that would kill him. He would be so grossed out by that. Then he writes, I love the sound, smell, and the way it makes my butthole vibrate. Now, what in God's name makes you think I would read that to my dad and my 89-year-old, soon-to-be 89-year-old dad and my 87-year-old stepmother? Are you serious? And then he writes, I'm not a weirdo, though. I don't like it when other people fart. Do you like to fart? Yeah, I'm embarrassed right now just reading this, putting myself in the moment of reading this to him. I would never do that. But he's not done, no. In his attempt to be funny, writes, follow-up question for Joanne. Has Meathead ever given you a Dutch oven, a.k.a. a COVID test? I've never heard it referred to as that. Does Meathead fart in his sleep? People generally fart more in their sleep. Thanks. Have a great day. Yeah, no, we're not gonna read that to my dad. You know, I've said many times, first of all, pithy, short. Let's not go down this road. This is a perfect opportunity to describe the type of questions that I would like you to ask my beloved father. I wrote back, hey, Jason, this would probably gross him and Joanne out a little too much. I'm going to have to pass on this one. I try not to make the segment unpleasant or overly embarrassing for them. Sorry. Jeez, Pete. Anyway, thank you for trying. Aram says he is making a mockery of the segment. Thank you. Most of you know that. Great question. NW980. Eric, have you ever told your dad about the potential, thank you, Justin, up north with the orange GMC, with the orange Silverado, for subscribing? Eric, have you ever told your dad about the potential camp molestation? No. Well, I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't recall. That was a long, long time ago. Hell, I barely remembered it. But it did happen. Some would say it was 100% molestation. Now, I don't know about that. I think we were leading to a hardcore molesting. When the camp counselor at age 10, when I was finishing up going potty, grabbed my penis and shook it so that the little droplets of pee would fall off of my penis. I mean, I would say, it wasn't like, I don't know, maybe he had a boner. I think we'd have to ask the guy who did it. Maureen says, no, don't tell him now. No, I'm not going to tell him. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I probably liked it. Father Newman is here. That's a new name. Welcome to you. Please subscribe on Twitch. Megan is here. Good to have Megan back. DJ Plunkett. That's the dude who DJ'd my lovely daughter's wedding. Thank you again. What is your first name again? Is it Derek? It is Derek, isn't it? I don't remember. I'm awful. So don't feel hurt by this. But I forget everybody's names, man. It's awful. I'm the absolute worst. It takes me like 100 times to remember somebody's name. All I know is you did a great job. Studio D2D, by the way. Great place to have a wedding. Wedding and reception. All right. Where do I want to start? Yesterday, we did, and by the way, the Zaniac, one of the Zaniacs are kicking up their heels. Shots fired in former Zaniac camp. In fact, I'll just get to that now. A little bit of background. This is concerning the guy known as Tom from Gun Lake. His name is Troy Finholm. So, like a lot of these listeners, audience members, everything started out as great and was great until it wasn't. Particularly with Tom, he was part of the group of people that spearheaded the construction of this studio. It was unbelievably helpful. As were a lot of people who I don't talk to anymore. Okay. And the big picture of it is, I'll just focus on Tom. Tom was not part of the great Zaniac exodus of whatever year it was. Last year, I guess, of 2022. He was not part of that. He was gone well before that. I actually personally exiled Tom from when I had influence on the Zaniacs United Facebook page before everything went to shit. So how this unfolded was, like I said, Tom was super helpful, and as were all those people. But as time passed, we got to a scenario where Ben and I were reconciling, Ben Glaze and I. And Tom was one of the main offenders of Ben when we were on the radio. He'd say mean things to Ben, call him a snowflake. I think we all did. But that was actually really bothering him, Ben, at the time. Well, as you all know, Ben and I had a falling out, which was then reconciled. And everything's great to this day. We're very close. Ben did comedy last night, by the way. I can't wait to hear about that the next time we speak. He did 2 comedy venues last night, or 2 shows or something like that. But anyway, so Ben and I are in the process of fixing our relationship, and I announced that Ben would be on this show, and we were going to, air it all out, and all would be well. And it has been for years now. Well, at the time, Troy went on to Zaniacs United and posted a picture of Ben and wrote Snowflake on it, like photoshopped it or just went into the editor and wrote Snowflake across Ben's face. And so I was like, oh, God, I don't need, Ben's, at the time especially, he was very sensitive. And I reached out to Troy. I go, hey, buddy, can you do me a favor and not do that? We deleted the post, or Andrea deleted it. I think I might have been even an admin on the page at the time. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I just finally put this all to bed with Ben, and I don't want him to lose his, I don't want him to get pissed off. And I'd like him happy. Can we not do that? And at that point, Troy Finholm can say, no problem, man. And then that's it. But no, he chooses to do this. I don't know why you're wasting your time. He's mentally disturbed. I've been through 2 divorces with people like this or something like that. I don't know. And they never get better. So Tom has that's his opinion. Troy. I keep calling him Tom because he calls himself Tom, but that's not his name. His name is Troy Finholm, Finholm. And I'm like, well, for fuck's sake. So then I got annoyed. And I go, yeah, I had a feeling you're going to be an asshole like this. Fuck you and fuck off. And that was it. So I lost my shit. But I'm glad I did, because he's a piece of shit. So then I said to Andrea, I go, get him out of here. Kick him off the page. I don't want him around. He's a fucking asshole. Fuck him. And that was it. Now, he had glimpses of asshole behavior in the past, but him and I were on good terms prior to that. I probably should have cut and run well before that, like I should with a number of those people. But I didn't. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I said, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. That's it. A few months later, I was like, I might have overreacted. I tried to reach out to him. And he said, no, I don't want anything to do with you. Fuck you. Okay. All right. That's it. No big deal. Time passes. Last summer, I have the big falling out, the big Zaniac exodus of 2021 or 2022. It's over. All these, 24 people are no longer affiliated with the show. And that's it. It's been fine ever since. Clean break. Whatever. They say what they want to say about me. I make fun of them. It's all good. I don't care. Over time, I reached out to a number of people who would tip me off, like, hey, they're talking about you. They're talking shit about you. And then I realized that was really pissing me off. The success. They were doing a good job at annoying the shit out of me. Because that Zaniacs United page, what was the Zaniacs United page, just became a place to talk shit about me. Now, so over time, there was a handful of people who would tip me off about that, about things on there. And then I was like, hey, I'm probably not doing myself any favors to be paying attention to this. So I'm blissfully ignorant. Whereas before I would have wanted to know what the fuck they were talking about me. It's distracting me now, and I don't want anything to do with it. So it's been great. Out of sight, out of mind. No big deal. And until this. And frankly, I wasn't even going to discuss this until Troy Finholm took it a step further. And I'm going to share that with you now. So Monday, I get up at fucking 4 a.m. and go to Wood Radio, do my thing, laugh along with the jokes, read a sportscast a few times, go home. That's it. I had a good time doing it. I'm going to be doing it again in the last week of March, starting Monday, March 27 for the whole week. Miss Lauren and I are going to be doing the show. Simple. I get a text. It's a screenshot from the Zaniacs United page. And this person said, I know you don't like seeing it, but this is, what did this person say to me? By the way, sorry if you can hear a Daisy snoring. She's really sawing some logs today. Oh, my God. This person wrote, these people are delusional. And this is what Troy wrote. Good morning. On my way into work this morning, listening to Wood Radio. Who do I hear filling in for Brett Makita? That's right, Voldemort. I actually felt kind of bad for the dude. He sounded like a nervous third grader reading a book report. Maybe he should look into filling in on NPR. Awesome career moves being made. All right, let's hold that. Let's park on that. And I knew about this for yesterday's show, but chose not to say anything about it because I was like, I don't give a shit. Fuck those guys. But something else has happened that's made this now. I want to talk about it. Okay. Let me clarify a couple of things here. I did this as a favor. I do not need to do this. I did it, A, as a favor, and because, B, I like to do it. Okay, that's 100% true. And this is not a career move. Okay, because if it were a career move, it would be a good one. If I was on Wood Radio regularly, the number one radio station in West Michigan for about 50 fucking years, that would be a career move, a good one. Going in, drinking coffee and eating cookies and donuts with nice people, talking on the number one rated radio station first thing in the morning. That's actually pretty good. So not really a career move. As for me sounding like a nervous third grader reading a book report, I mean, I don't know. I felt like I did pretty damn well, and I was told so by the hosts on the show. Pro's pro was the quote. Boy, you filled in perfectly, like you've been doing it your whole life. That's what I was told. I didn't share that with you, but I mean, I think Troy might be a little overzealous on the criticism there. But thank you for feeling bad for me. Anyway, so that was it. Now, if you recall yesterday on this show, I read to you the exchange I had. In fact, I responded to the person who sent it my way, and I said, well, I guess he didn't like it. And then I said, that's funny how he thinks I actually need to do that. I did that as a favor to them, and they are the number one rated radio station in the entire area. This person writes, exactly. And I said, but I'm glad that he promoted me. This person says, everyone listens to Wood Radio in the morning. And I said, and while that shithead is driving into his horrible job, I'm sitting at the studio talking on the radio, drinking coffee and eating free donuts. So I said, I said that first on this text exchange. Chris says, and then going back to your warm home for your own show. This person says, it's then you're going back to your warm home for your own show. It's rough, LOL. I said, so true, but in all honesty, I like being blissfully ignorant to all that BS. This person writes, yeah, I know. I didn't want to get you all wound up or anything. It just struck me as funny. I said nothing. If you recall, on yesterday's show, I was like, hey, I had a complaint letter and a good letter, too. Because I followed up and I said to the boss, I really enjoyed filling in. That was fun. I hope it sounded okay. He said, yeah, you did well, Eric. Steve and Lauren, who run the show, both had great things to say. I said, all right, that's great. You'd tell me if it sounded like dog shit, wouldn't you? He says, I only got one listener complaint. And I got one Quote, he was great email. That's good for Wood Radio. They hate everything. Whatever. Haha. I said, was it a complaint based on my past or something I did today? He said, more than likely your past. They didn't say anything specific. Now, at this point, I'm like curious. Who wrote that? And I had an idea, but I wasn't for sure. I said, yeah, that happens. It doesn't help that when I'm podcasting, I'm usually telling everybody to fuck off. The boss says, LOL. I'm not a podcast guy, but I love when you tell people to fuck off. A little bit more dialogue. Yesterday at 2:20 p.m., I wrote to the boss, and I said, any chance you could forward me the good and the bad email I got? I want to read them on my show. He writes, sent. He doesn't give a shit. All right. This is when, once I got the email, that I decided to make this a show and tell feature on the Eric Zane Show podcast. I'll get to that in a second. By the way, Chris writes, Wood Radio, this is their 100th anniversary this year. Station's been on the air for 100 years. Cole writes, so he's saying you're a loser for being on the radio on the station he was listening to. What does that make him? Amy writes, Eric, you should take this as a compliment. These guys have nothing better to do than be obsessed over you. If they really don't care, they wouldn't even bother writing anything. Blue State Rob says, what a real bunch of dipshits. Aram says, the Zaniacs act like they invested a bunch of money and didn't receive their shares of ownership in EZSP. NW980 says, Dear iHeart, I heard a man on your airwaves who makes bad career choices and sounds like a third grader giving a book report. Plus, I don't like him. Please remove him immediately. Corey says, fucking losers. All right. Here you go. Show and tell portion of the show. This is my email from the radio station. Here's the boss. This is the email that the boss got from this nice person, Todd Van Valkenburg. Wow, that is a Dutch name. Thank you, Todd Van Valkenburg. It was awesome to hear Eric Zane on the air this morning. Have him more often if you can. Okay, tremendous. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Van Valkenburg. And as I suspected, sweet Troy, and this was sent at 5:16 a.m., by the way, right after we started the show. Troy was driving to work, and at 7:24 a.m., Troy Finholm, whose email is right here, T-A-Finholm at yahoo.com, T-A-F as in Frank, I-N-H-O-L-M at yahoo.com. In case you missed that, I'll throw that in the chat here. If you want to congratulate him on being part of the show today. Please, please, please don't ruin morning radio by adding Eric Zaitunian. I usually really enjoy listing. No, you're not listing. You're listening. Listing is what your wife does every morning. But today was not a good start to my Monday, Troy writes. So, essentially, I got 0 complaints. So I wrote back to the boss. I said, hell yes, thank you. Then once what I thought was true, because I suspected this was happening, I wrote, the guy who sent you that is an old school troll. He's one of a group of stalkers who do things like show up at my house uninvited. The boss says, LOL, I thought when he used your real name, it could be someone who was a professional hater. I said, yes, he is a bit off. So that is the solving of the mystery. I am so happy that it went down this way. Again, I had no intention of discussing this on this show until he told on me. Reached out to my boss, sent him an email. Stevie is just checking in. Stevie, you must go back and listen to this. We have a rare former Zaniac sighting. Shots fired from the former Zaniacs. You must go back and listen. Holy shit. Up North Justin writes, on a morning radio show, then home doing a successful podcast. That sounds like a better life than jacking off your sister's horse. Oh, and keep in mind, as Blue State Rob says, remember, he hates you because someone apologized to you and rekindled your relationship with that person. That's the background of Troy Finholm. He's not in that whole faction of people that left at once, okay? At least there's some give and take, you know? At least concerning that, there was an admitted overreaction by me. Now, was it meant to be that I remain friends with those people? Of course not. We are much better off as a show to not have them. It's cool. But Finholm is below them. He's the absolute, he was shit prior to all of those people leaving. Okay? He's the biggest pile of shit. You see, as it goes, when all of that separation in audience happened, they went and invited back all the ones who I'd kicked out of the group. The Dirks, the Troys, and then now they all have a common enemy, so they're all pals now. Well, there you go. That's how that group operates. Amanda says, I still like being called a Zaniac. I really am a maniac for Zane. I think if I decided today that I wanted to have sex with Amanda, I could go over there right now and do that based on that comment right there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Corey writes, full on anal. No, that doesn't. I don't like the idea of my ding dong where poop comes out. Maureen says, how big of a loser do you have to be to take time out of your day to write a hate email like that? My God. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's all you guys judging Troy, and I don't blame you. I'm just telling you what he has done in the past day and a half because he heard me reading a sportscast on the radio. So, right now he's probably getting the show as we speak. I can't say that. I don't know if I have any lurkers in here, but eventually it will get back to him. And that's all what happened. I mean, you know me, guys. If there was some fault, if I had some fault in this, I would own that. I would say this. I think that when it came to Troy and doing that to Ben, me asking him politely to not do it, and then him saying what he said, me then getting mad at him was absolutely an overreaction. And that's why I felt badly and reached out to him afterwards about it. And he wanted nothing to do with it, so that's that. But had I been wiser, I would have said, hold on a second. Amanda writes, Zane would not want to have sex with me. Fat people disgust him. Oh, come on now. Don't say that. You're as pretty as a picture. I love your smile, and I would absolutely have sex with you. Are you kidding me? Don't talk down to yourself, for fuck's sake. If I was single, I'd go over there just to prove you wrong. Kenny writes, wow. Yeah, seriously. You cannot do that on this show. I will not tolerate you saying something horrific about yourself like that. Aram makes a good point, though, that you're too young for me. You must be like 50 and up. And I think you're like 31 or something. So shut up. Had I said to Troy, dude, you know, you've been nothing but helpful for me. Can you please continue that and not be difficult in this scenario? And just please lighten up. I mean, I'm just trying. I tell you what, I'll make my own bet. I appreciate your input, but I have this under control. Then that would have been an appropriate response. Okay? But I way overreacted, admittedly. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am without fault. I have always said that I am. But you know where I'm not at fault? Anything concerning the last 48 hours. Not a thing. And again, the only reason why that guy is butthurt is because of what happened with Ben. That's why he was cast out like a year or two before all of the drama with the group formerly known as Zaniacs. Let's be clear here. And if any of those folks are listening, he'll tell you the same thing. All right. Putting that to bed. No one even wants to talk about that anymore. They all want to talk about my comment about me having sex with Amanda if I was single. No one even cares what I'm saying anymore after that comment. All right. So that's that. Thank you for getting the show on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. But for you folks on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, I have to say goodbye to you. If you want the full show, you can find it at twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. That's twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Go ahead to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, either on your desktop or laptop, or download the Twitch app. Search Eric Zane Live, all one word, and follow the page, and then subscribe to it. Do that each month. You can catch a show without any commercial interruptions, or don't. And if you don't, you'll just get a few commercials here and there. If you do, you can do it for free with your Amazon Prime account. But you got to do it on your own each and every month. Video on demand there. You can watch it later on. If you're on Twitch, you can dim the screen, run it through your Bluetooth, and get it like your favorite morning radio show every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The audio of this show is available right after I get done with it, and then I post it. So audio on demand wherever you download podcasts. So on your podcasting app, please subscribe, rate, and review it. The show, that is, and then off you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell your friends about the show on your social media. These are all cheap, sleazy, and easy ways for you to promote the show and help its growth. I have a Patreon, which is a paywall, where there's more content each and every day. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. That helps keep the lights on. In fact, Troy Finholm and the other Zaniacs were all part of the Patreon at one point. Not anymore, but whatever. Time marches on. Life goes on. No big deal. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. If you want more to listen to. So if you appreciate the free one and you want to help out, helping keep the lights on, please sign up for the Patreon for a month or two. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Okay, thanks, folks. I'm going to say goodbye to you on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.